In 2011, Apostle David A. Bednar gave an address at the BYU Women's Conference, titled, "By Small and Simple Things are Great Things Brought to Pass." He explored a pattern we see throughout Scripture and in our own lives, the way the Lord orchestrates what seems to be a chance encounter that becomes a catalyst for extraordinary change. And often, these small and simple things come disguised as everyday conversations with ordinary people, brought together by impossibly precise timing. Let me share one of my favourite examples. In 1852, two young English couples, Luke and Christina Syphus and Joseph and Adelaide Ridges, boarded a ship called the Java, bound for Australia. Joseph and Adelaide were skilled tradespeople chasing opportunity, and like many at the time, Joseph was caught up in gold fever, dreaming of striking it rich in a new land. By the time they finally pulled into Sydney Harbour, the two families were inseparable. But for the Ridges, the most impactful part of the journey wasn't the destination. It was the realisation that Luke and Christina were members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Luke Syphus, who would eventually become a pillar of the church as a bishop, didn't need a pulpit on that ship. He and Christina simply lived their faith out loud, turning a grueling voyage into a 5-month-long introduction to the gospel. They settled near each other at Pennant Hills, a quiet patch of bushland northwest of Sydney. Now here's where the story turns. Joseph's search for gold led him to convince Luke to join him on an adventurous trek to the goldfields. While Joseph searched for gold, Luke shared additional principles of the gospel. Luke loaned Joseph a copy of the Book of Mormon and a text of the teachings of Elder Orson Pratt. No formal lessons, just truth shared naturally between friends. Back home, Joseph and Adelaide saw how Luke and Christina lived their faith. Not long after, Mission President Augustus Farnham visited Pennant Hills, and on November 15, 1853, both Joseph and Adelaide Ridges were baptised. Later, Joseph would write that in seeking gold, he'd found the more precious good, the gospel of Jesus Christ. But the story doesn't end there. Joseph Ridges had grown up near an organ factory in England. He'd always been fascinated by the sound, the craftsmanship, the beauty of it. In Australia, he built a small 7-stop pipe organ in his spare time. When the mission president suggested he donate it to the church in Salt Lake City, Joseph agreed. So, in 1856, that organ, packed into 6 large tin crates, sailed to America, with both the Ridges and Syphus families. After being hauled across the desert, it was installed in the old adobe tabernacle at Brigham Young's request. That little organ became the seed of something magnificent. Joseph Ridges was later asked to build the great Tabernacle Organ, the one that still fills Temple Square with music today. Think about that chain of events: a friendship, a gospel conversation, a small organ built by hand, and from it, an instrument that has inspired millions. Now, here's the detail that changes everything. Apostle David A. Bednar, the one who taught that principle at BYU, is the great-great-grandson of Luke and Christina Syphus. These patterns happen in everyone's life. It's still happening today. Some may call it a coincidence, but when you see the pattern often enough, you start to call it something else. So, here's my challenge to you. Pause for a moment and look back on your own life. Can you see your own patterns of divine coincidence? Those moments that felt ordinary, but turned out to shape a completely new direction. Not just good conversations or kind people, but the impossible timing, the 1 in 10,000 chance that puts you in the right place. By small and simple things, great things truly are brought to pass. But here's the part I love most. You're not just part of the pattern, you're part of the process. You don't need to be extraordinary. You don't need all the answers. You just need to be authentic, to share what you believe when the moment feels right. The Lord still orchestrates these moments today. He still connects ordinary people in extraordinary ways through timing so precise it can't be random. One day, someone will look back and calculate the odds of how you came into their life at exactly the right moment, and they'll realise that wasn't chance. That was divine design. And they'll be talking about you.